And good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Ken, and welcome to Casual Coffee with Ken. This is my little show where I scour the internet looking for upbeat, positive, and sometimes even inspiring stories to share with you. Because as we know, local and national news is largely driven by negativity. Because, bad news drives clicks, which drives ad revenue. I really don't need that. So I research happy stories to share with you, and really I do it because it's great for my mental health as well. So thank you for taking time out of your day to join me this fine morning. I hope you all had a wonderful Monday. As good as a Monday can ever be, right? I hope it wasn't too horrible or taxing for you. So if you're new here, you can comment during the live stream, and I will see the comments on my screen, and I can sometimes bring those in to the show to share with everybody who's watching as well. If you do choose to comment, please let me know where in the world you are watching from, because I really love that. That's my favorite part about doing this versus just making videos, is the interactive conversation that we get to have and meeting people from literally all over the world. I've had people, I had a comment on my YouTube channel the other day. Someone from Australia watched the replay of one of my shows, so that was fun. I've had people from Scotland tune in before. I've had people from Ireland watch, so it's great. I love it. I love how the internet can bring everybody together from all over the world. I think that is fantastic. It's one of my favorite things about the internet. So yeah, I hope you are having a great day. My Monday was pretty good for a Monday. We didn't do a whole lot. It was just a kind of a normal work day for me. Karina hasn't been feeling very well. She doesn't have the coronavirus or anything. It's just her normal Crohn's problems and gastroparesis, and so she's been sleeping a lot, which is great because I want her to get as much rest as possible so that she doesn't get sick. But both of us so far have been doing very well. So fingers crossed. But we are taking this social isolation very seriously, and honestly, for us, it's fairly easy because we're introverts anyway for the most part, and so staying at home and reading a book or playing a video game, okay, twist our arms, no problem for us. So anyway, let's go ahead and just kind of dive on in to the first section, and this day I will start off with my tea of the day. And it's important to point out that this is not a sponsored broadcast, but Karina and I do love David's tea, and that is, again, where our tea of the day comes from today. And today's flavor is David's tea, strawberry rhubarb parfait. Amazing, very good tea. It tastes like strawberry. It does not taste like artificial strawberries. It has just a little bit of tartness to it, as a fresh strawberry does sometimes have. It's amazing. Again, I love the layout of their website as well. You can get a sense here of it has that deep red color that you would associate with fruit punch. But no, it definitely tastes like strawberry rhubarb pie, which is without a doubt my favorite kind of pie. Even more than apple, and apple was my favorite for years, but since discovering strawberry rhubarb pie, at the Gold and Silver here in Reno, Nevada. Yeah, that's my all-time favorite. This tea is amazing. Let me get you a close-up look at that. Doesn't it just look tasty? Almost looks like those are dried cranberries. Awesome. And good morning, Sean. Glad to see you made it. And hope you're having a really good Tuesday. But yeah, the thing I love, there's so many things that we love about David's Tea, but I love their website. I love how it breaks it down for you. They actually outline how many cups of coffee, how many cups of tea you can expect to get from their product. So if you order the 2-ounce size, you can expect to get 15 to 20 cups, 8-ounce cups of hot tea, or 10 to 15 cups of iced tea, and they do that for each size. And again, David's Tea is so good because their teas are very flavorful, so you do not have to use a ton of loose tea in order to get a flavorful, satisfying cup of tea, which is brilliant. So yeah, check them out. They're great customer service. Fast shipping. They have a wide assortment of caffeine-free tea blends as well as caffeinated ones, so it's got something for everybody on there. And it's just fantastic tasting tea. Oh, and here we go. Jessica M. Afternoon here. Well, good afternoon, Jessica. Thank you for joining in and shouting out. If I might ask, where in the world you are watching from, that it's afternoon. I'm going to guess probably the East Coast of the United States, since that tends to be where most of my viewership comes from, the U.S. in general. But yeah, I'd love to know where you're watching from, and thanks for joining. So yeah, I highly recommend David's Tea if you're just joining in now, Jessica. They have a really fun assortment of teas on there. And let's go ahead. Western New York. All right, Western New York. My geography is horrible, so like a lot of people on the West Coast, all I know of New York is New York City, although I do have a friend that lives in Buffalo. So I know there's more to New York than New York City, but yeah. I don't know why I'm rambling about geography. Anyway, thank you for joining me today. It's good to see you on here. And let's go ahead and just dive on into our first segment today, which is, it falls so nicely under this category of strange but true. So yeah, this bear decided it wanted to take this package, so it did. That's apparently, according to the website that the video was originally posted on, a 40-pound package of dog food. And this teenage bear decided he wanted it, and it was going to be food for bears and not food for dogs. So, you know, bears got to eat too. Why not? I don't know how long the package of dog food might have been sitting on that porch, but if you live in an area that's known for having bears, maybe bring it in sooner rather than later if it's a food package of any kind. Jessica's all must have smelled good. Yeah, I imagine so. Yeah, moral of the story, if it's a food package, you live in an area with bears, move the food package inside sooner rather than later. So there's obviously a lot of news around the coronavirus, but it's not all bad news. All bad news. Yes, dog food would smell good to a bear, definitely. So yeah, it's not all bad news around the coronavirus. There's a lot of companies that are stepping up to the plate and really doing their part to make a difference, and companies that are from sectors of the business world that you might not expect to be doing anything really, because it just doesn't fit in your head. This next story right here is definitely one of those. There's a gaming accessory company called Razer. They make, I think they make, I don't know that they make gaming computers, but they definitely make like gaming mice, mice for games, keyboards that are specifically designed for gaming enthusiasts, computer gaming enthusiasts, and they've decided to step up and help make masks. So anyone who's been following the news at all realizes that there is a shortage of N95 masks in the medical community, and those are particularly valuable because the N95 stands for 95% of particulates are blocked by the mask. So there's been a huge demand for these types of masks. There was a lot of hoarding, panic buying of those masks by people not involved in the medical industry. So a few companies have stepped up to start producing those masks, and this gaming company is one of them. So they are going to manufacture and donate up to 1 million masks, quote, to the health authorities of different countries globally, beginning with their home base of Singapore. So this isn't something you enter into lightly. There is some very strict criteria you have to meet to receive the N95 designation. The FDA has outlined what those are, and it's just encouraging to me when there are quite a few companies that aren't really stepping up to the plate in this time of need, that a company in an industry that has nothing to do with medicine at all is just saying, okay, yeah, we can help, and they're just doing it. And so that's encouraging to me. I love it. These are the kinds of stories that I look for intentionally, because it shows that there are people who are willing to do the right thing, and Razer stepped up. Unlike companies like McDonald's, who aren't bothering to cover their employees with paid sick leave during this crisis, and but that would be a negative story, and I don't want to dwell on stuff like that. So good on you, Razer. Good job. Thank you for doing this, and I'm sure the members of our medical establishment are really going to appreciate this the world over. So thank you for making a positive difference. Yeah, which is sad because I love me a Big Mac, but yeah, they're really dropping the ball. Fast food in general is dropping the ball, so we'll just leave that there. So I'm glad that there are companies that are choosing to do the right thing. So this next story is fun because it shows how you can do something that doesn't require you to leave the house, doesn't require you to manufacture a product, but that can still help some of the most vulnerable people in our population, and that's, in this case, children. And there's been a lot of coverage of celebrities lately stepping up and donating a lot of money to the problem, and that's fantastic. Obviously, we need that. When Rihanna's foundation donates, $5 million towards helping combat this epidemic, that's amazing and great. But you can be a celebrity and not donate millions of dollars and still have a meaningful impact on people. And this guy gets it. So some of you might be familiar with a cartoon movie called Frozen. I'm familiar with the concept, but I have not seen Frozen. I know that makes me a bad person, but we don't have kids, and I don't. So there's a lot of like animated shows that I've never seen, just because there's not really an imperative for us to see them. And I get it. Cartoons are for people of all ages. I totally get that. But so I haven't seen Frozen, but apparently this gentleman, who is the voice of Olaf, is doing readings on his Twitter account for kids. And so he's been just reading children's books live on his Twitter account. And obviously he's a talented voice actor. So he's not just reading them like I would read them, or maybe you would read them. He's acting them out with the voices, voice characterizations, and everything. And he does this late in the afternoon. And, he doesn't do it for an extended amount of time. It's about 20 minutes for each session, but he just thought it would help. He just thought it would be a good way to reach out, especially in a scary time like this. And it's scary for adults. I can only imagine how it must be if you're a kid right now. And he's like, it says in the article here at Hollywood Reporter, quote, "I felt like I didn't have any answers to give the people who rely on me to give answers, namely my girls. I felt like I didn't know what to tell them or how to prepare them or how to distract them for the greatest disruption they'll hopefully ever know in their lives." And since he every night would read to his kids before bed, he decided, why don't I just do that for everybody? So he just decided to, float the idea on Twitter, see if anybody liked it, and boy, did people like it. So he's just going to keep doing it. He doesn't care if it's just 10 people watching or, a whole bunch. But so he's going to do that just because he can. And it's a way that he feels he can give back to the world. Didn't cost him any money to do it. He doesn't have to venture out of his house, doesn't have to break quarantine to do it. And he doesn't have to manufacture a product, just using the talent that he has to make a bright spot for his fans. And I had no idea who he was before this. I know who he is now, and I'm definitely going to check out Frozen, and I guess he was also in the live action remake of Beauty and the Beast a couple of years ago too. But yeah, my respect for him is just through the roof, because he did something that's so simple. But that's kind of the point that I try to make with these shows is you can do something that feels like nothing to you, right? But even a small gesture can make a huge difference to people you've never met. So I love it. I love this kind of thing. And that's why I wanted to share it with you this morning. And Jessica says that that's awesome. I agree. And Sean says that Josh Gad is great. I would agree with both of those statements. Absolutely. So next story is a good example of how a government can finally step up to the plate. There was some criticism of the UK governing body, because initially they were very slow to respond to the pandemic being a serious event. But they have, and in my opinion, and if you're watching and you happen to be in the UK, feel free to sound off in the comments if I'm completely wrong. But it feels like from this article on CNN that they have finally redeemed themselves in a huge way that I can only hope we will replicate here at home in the US. And they're going to pay 80% of wages of any worker facing unemployment because of the coronavirus pandemic. Now, they've recently basically closed down their country, no going in or out of the UK. I know UK isn't a country, but so yeah, they before that even they had ordered the closure of pubs and restaurants, but they have gone one step further. And yes, Jessica, that definitely deserves some applause there. They have gone one step further by promising to cover 80% of worker salaries for at least the next 3 months, up to a maximum of £2,500, which is about $2,900 a month, which is more than they estimate the average income is. And this doesn't apply to just companies with less than 500 people. No, this measure applies to all companies. So that's huge. It's part of a bigger rescue package for British businesses. But this is what needs to happen everywhere. It's not like we don't have the money to do this in the US. How many trillions of dollars did our government inject into the stock market? And if you looked at the ticker that day, it had an impact on the stock market for about 15 minutes. And then it might as well not have even happened. $1 trillion effectively, in my mind, wasted, because the effect it had was gone inside half an hour. This is what needs to happen. We need to make sure that people are getting meaningful amounts of money for an extended amount of time. Because as long as people aren't worried about losing their jobs, they're going to stay indoors. If they're worried about losing their jobs, not having money to pay bills, getting evicted from their homes or their apartments, then you're going to see people not staying inside because they're worried about their, making money. This is a fine example of how to do it right. And I can only hope that we will come up with something at least as good as this. So we'll see what happens. But that was really inspiring to me. It fills me with hope that, when you say the phrase, the word government, obviously the old joke, I'm from the government, I'm here to help you, generally inspires not a lot of confidence, but to see that a government gets it and is finally doing the right thing by their citizens, that is cause to celebrate, okay? Because they could have not done this, but they recognized the need and chose to act on it. So good for them. Good job, UK. Better late than never. And yeah, I guess that's all I have to say about that. What's this? Way to go, UK. They used to make cars for free for their disabled veterans too after World War I or World War II. That's cool. That's another good example. That's great. I love it. It's too bad that more often than not steps aren't taken for the greater good, so that when they do, it's cause for celebration, like it's a unique event. So it'd be nice if this kind of thing was so commonplace that I didn't have to do a show dedicated to looking for the positive stories, but there it is. Now, this last one is nothing but fun. Nothing to do with the coronavirus or the economy or governments or politics or anything. This is really cool. I saw this and it just blew my mind. If you followed me at all over the years, you know that I am a big fan of magic, and I am a big fan of illusions. I like being visually tricked. Okay, I'm one of those people who loved those magic eye prints back in the 90s, where you would have to stare at it just in the exact right way, and then you could see the hidden 3D image in there. I love those. Absolutely love those. So I love visual deception tricks. It's fun. So this guy, this artist, Julian Voss-Andreae, makes these sculptures that, well, you just have to look. So I'm just going to shut up and show you. Jessica loves the magic eye stuff too. So this guy, you see that? You can barely see that sculpture because you're not looking at it at the exact right angle. But that's what it looks like. If you just shift your position a little bit, you can see it looks pretty darn solid. But then if you look at it dead on, it's almost completely invisible. And he's done this with a lot of different subjects. It's just crazy to me. I mean, this is, if you go to julianvossandreae.com, there's a whole huge portfolio of all the stuff that he's done. And that's gorgeous. And I like this. It's very similar to the one we just looked at, but I love the lighting on this. It's just beautiful. But I mean, look at that. It's just incredible. I can't draw a straight line with a ruler, and yet there are people that can make just the most amazing works of art. See, look at that. Look at how it starts to disappear as you move around the sculpture. The guy looks like he's just starting to fade out slowly from the left. You can see the trees and the clouds through them. Ah, it's gorgeous. It's just amazing to me. Anyway, I love optical illusions, and this is just right up my alley. Loved it. So I wanted to share that with you. As always, after the show, I post the links to the things that I talk about in the description if you're watching on YouTube. And also, if you're watching on Facebook Live, I'll post it there as well. But yeah, I was just too beautiful to not share. So I hope you enjoyed it. And it's already 9:29, so that half hour went really fast. Thank you for choosing to spend your morning with me. Do me a favor. If you liked this, if you had fun this morning, if you got some value out of this, after the live broadcast ends, it stays up as a video. If you wouldn't mind sharing the video link with your friends, tell them about this guy in Reno, Nevada, who has a morning show that's dedicated to making you feel better about the world and making you feel positive in the morning before you go on to start your day doing whatever it is you have to do. I'm trying to position myself as the anti-news, less depressing than the local and network stations. And so yeah, if you wouldn't mind, share the video link, the replay link, with your friends, either on YouTube or Facebook or wherever, and just tell them about the show. I'd appreciate that. And if you like what I'm doing and you want to help grow the show, you can find me over on Patreon. I have some fun rewards set up over there for people who contribute. I generally do this for my mental health, but I would love to continue doing this. Right now I kind of have a built-in deadline of May 1st when I'll have to stop this, uh, but yeah, if you want to help grow the show, any amount is appreciated. Thank you so much for watching in the meantime, and I will see you live back here tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific time here in the United States. And until then, I'm Ken McKim. You take care, and remember, when you can choose to be anything, choose to be kind, because kindness matters. All right. Take care, everybody. Thank you.